Bonjour, and welcome back to my Paris Top Tips channel. Today, we're diving into another enchanting Parisian neighborhood, one that's been highly requested by you all, the Eiffel Tower neighborhood. When it comes to Paris, there are iconic landmarks, and then there's the Eiffel Tower. It's not just a monument, it's a symbol of romance, adventure, and the incredible spirit of this city. And guess what? The neighborhood surrounding the Eiffel Tower is just as captivating. In this episode of our Discovering Paris Neighborhood series, I'm going to take you on a journey through the streets and secrets of this vibrant area. From the world-renowned museums like Les Invalides, the Rodin Museum and the Branly Museum, where you can immerse yourself in art and history, to hidden gems for delicious French treats, I've got you covered. So, to discover the neighborhood, I designed a loop that starts from the École Militaire station on Metro Line 8. From there, just walk 300 meters and you are at one of Paris' most striking buildings, the Dome of the Invalides, home of Napoléon Bonaparte's tomb. The dome is part of the Hôtel des Invalides, a complex of buildings containing museums and monuments, all relating to the military history of France, as well as a hospital and a retirement home for war veterans, the building's original purpose. The entrance fee for the whole museum is €15. The Dôme des Invalides is one of the prime exemplars of French Baroque architecture, at 107 meters high. Commissioned by Louis XIV, it is an iconic symbol of France's absolute monarchy. From absolute monarchy, we move to the Napoleonic Empire after the brief interlude of the French Revolution, and Napoleon was entombed under the Dome of the Invalides with great ceremonies in 1840. If the most notable tomb at Les Invalides is that of Napoleon, other military figures and members of Napoleon's family are also buried at the Dome Church. Among the most famous, we find Marshal Foch, the supreme Allied commander during World War I. Marshal Lyautey, dubbed the French Empire Builder, is also buried here. And Joseph Bonaparte, Napoleon's elder brother. This is the entrance to the crypt, where the sarcophagus of Napoleon is to be found. This sarcophagus in quartzite contains 5 coffins, one made of tin, one in mahogany wood, 2 of lead, one in ebony wood, heated into each other around Napoleon's remains. Napoleon's son is also buried in the crypt. On the gallery's wall are 10 large relief panels which celebrate Napoleon's achievements. One of the most famous is certainly the Napoleonic Code, which not only is the French civil code still in force, but the base of the civil codes of many countries, especially in South America. The dome is in fact an independent chapel to a much larger church, the Saint-Louis des Invalides Cathedral. Behind the altar, on a glass window, is the Dome Chapel. Saint-Louis is now the cathedral of the diocese of the French Armed Forces. Thus, the Court of Honor is used to pay tribute to soldiers killed in operations and for military ceremonies. 60 cannons are placed there. Les Invalides also houses the Museum of the French Army, as well as the Museum of Plan Relief, a very interesting museum of military models. The museum displays 28 Plan Relief or fortifications along the English Channel, the Atlantic and Mediterranean coasts, and the Pyrenees. Among the many rooms of the Army Museum, the medieval room is, in my opinion, the most interesting. Among other things, a fascinating room on Japanese military art. The main entrance to Les Invalides overlooks the Seine, on the other side of the gigantic Esplanade des Invalides. But for our walk, let's go out towards the dome instead. We are now heading towards the Rodin Museum. The Musée Rodin is primarily dedicated to the works of the French sculptor Auguste Rodin, who is generally considered the founder of modern sculpture. Rodin's masterpiece, The Thinker, is exposed in the garden of the museum, right by the entrance. This is the statue of the French author Balzac. This mansion, the Hôtel Biron, was Rodin's workshop. The Kiss, beautiful statue. Rodin donated the Hôtel Biron, his entire collection of sculptures along with paintings by Van Gogh, Monet and Renoir that he had acquired, to the French state on the condition that they turned the buildings into a museum dedicated to his works. Victor Hugo's plaster statue. We will see the final statue in the garden. This is Auguste Rodin, sculpted by Camille Claudel, student and model for Rodin, and soon his collaborator, associate, and lover. In the beautiful gardens are many other large statues created by Rodin over the years. This is Eve on the Rock. The definitive Victor Hugo statue. The Three Shades. And the Burghers of Calais, other masterpiece of Rodin. Let's now cross the Esplanade des Invalides to the Alexander III Bridge. The Pont Alexandre III is a deck arch bridge that spans the Seine and connects the Champs-Élysées neighborhood with those of the Invalides and the Eiffel Tower. The bridge is widely regarded as the most ornate, extravagant bridge in the city. It was built between 1896 and 1900 and presents exuberant Art Nouveau lamps, cherubs, nymphs and winged horses at either end. The Grand Palais. The bridge is named after Tsar Alexander III of Russia, who had concluded the Franco-Russian alliance in 1892. Okay, so far the stroll has been very cultural. What if we thought a little more about the pleasures of life in France now? But first, the Instagram moment. There will be 4 during this walk, for 4 photos that you can immediately put on Instagram. Then a visit to Sadahoru Aoki is essential. If you haven't watched my video on the best macarons in Paris, click here at the top right. Know that for me, Aoki makes some of the best macarons in the capital. Next is Rue Cler, one of the most beautiful and interesting pedestrian streets in Paris. I also made a video about that. In this pretty street, you can find all the food shops essential to French gastronomy. let's now head to the Quai Branly Museum. But first, if, like me and my daughter, you like a good burger, Birdy is definitely your place. There are many other nice restaurants on the way, with exquisite terraces in the summer. Here comes another Instagram spot. This little dead-end way hosts a theater and a quaint little garden at the back. Normally you can't enter the garden, but if it's open, go there. The picture will be even better. Isn't it beautiful? Barely a few meters further, at 29 Boulevard Rapp, is undoubtedly the most beautiful Art Nouveau building in Paris, the Lavirotte building. And here is another Instagram spot for the Eiffel Tower on Rue du Général Camus. We have arrived at the Branly Museum, Musée du Quai Branly Jacques Chirac in full, named after where it is located and after the former French president who made it created. It is not only a museum, but also a very pretty public garden. The museum features indigenous art and cultures of Africa, Asia, Oceania and the Americas, with 3,500 objects in display. Opened in 2006, it is the newest of the major museums in Paris. But you can't film there, so here are 3 photos taken in the museum. We are slowly approaching the end of our walk, and we are getting closer to the Eiffel Tower. But first, let's take a little detour via the Passerelle Debilly, footbridge from where you get a beautiful view on the busy Seine River and on the Eiffel Tower. On the Quai Jacques Chirac, just before arriving at the Eiffel Tower, the Algerian War Memorial. And here is our last Instagram spot, at the very end of the very long Rue de l'Université. It's time to go visit the Eiffel Tower now. For that purpose, I refer you to the video that I dedicated to it. Et voilà, a last stop in front of the human rights monuments on the Champ de Mars and the loop is complete. I hope you liked this video and that it will be useful to you.